Wow. What a game. I thought the 49ers had lost that about 3 times, but in an absolute masterclass of resilience, this shorthanded team surges to sole possession of first place in the NFC West with a 16-15 win over the Cardinals. How often do you see a 16-15 game? That might be scoregami. That might be the first time in NFL history. The 49ers get it done. Mac Jones carved his way downfield after the 49ers got second, maybe even third life, and then they call him Eddie Dinero for a reason, because he was money today for San Francisco on several field goal attempts, including the game winner that split the uprights and sent Levi's Stadium into a frenzy. This one, we could start at so many different places that you have to say team win for the 49ers, because the defense was missing Nick Bosa. He went out with the knee injury in the first half, and now the 49ers are going to have to see how long he misses. I think the one piece of good news there is he was trying to jog it out. He couldn't jog it out. He was still limping. But if it was something very, very serious, you would think that he wouldn't try to jog it out. But without Bosa, they struggled to get a pass rush. So the 49ers absolutely had to go smoke and mirrors. They had to try to dial up. There was a big blitz, for example, from Robert Saleh late in the game that led to a Fred Warner pass breakup. They had to manufacture a pass rush. They had to figure out ways to get enough stops to win this game by the skin of their teeth. The game-winning touchdown drive was set up by the rookie, Upton Stout. When he broke the pass up that was intended for Zay Jones on third down, it really looks like Zay Jones was about to make that catch and seal this game. I mean, that was going to be it for the 49ers. They didn't have the timeouts to stop the clock after that and get the ball back. But Stout, it's a never-give-up kind of thing. He might only be 5'8", but he's physical. He's got tremendous grip strength. And he made sure that he ripped that ball out from Zay Jones to force the punt from Arizona. Touchback, and then Mac Jones went to work through one to Jake Tonjes. Sky Moore caught a pass on that final drive, and then the big screen to Christian McCaffrey set up what was a relatively easy field goal for Eddie Pinheiro. But I go back even earlier. I mean, this was a game of two safeties, right? The 49ers, they suffered a safety. And I didn't think it was a great call, because I think that Dominic Pooney started the hold on Calais Campbell outside the end zone, but the officials didn't recognize that. It wasn't a reviewable play, and the 49ers went down 15-13. But go back earlier, I think it was start of the fourth quarter, 49ers had the Cardinals backed up, and they almost got Kyler Murray into a safety. The saving grace for Kyler on that play was that even though his feet were in the end zone, the ball, as he threw it, was across the goal line. So they said no safety for Kyler Murray on the play. It forced a punt, set up a touchdown for the 49ers. All good for San Francisco on that front, but it just showed you just how gritty of a game this was. I mean, this was just a brutal tug of war. I call it a tractor pull, back and forth. And I love bringing up that play that was almost a safety from the 49ers, because go back and watch who the three guys pressuring Kyler Murray were. It was the three drafted rookies. First, C.J. West ripped into the backfield. Then Mykel Williams got a hold of Kyler Murray. And then Alfred Collins came in to clean up. And Murray just got rid of the football. They called intentional grounding at the half-yard line. But if you were to, draw up something that's symbolic of the 49ers offseason reconstruction of this defense in a game where they lost the veteran pillar of that defensive line, Nick Bosa, to the knee injury, that is the play that you have to focus on. The three draft picks, Mykel, Alfred Collins, and C.J. West combining on the pressure. I mean, how could you say that football is not a romantic sport? I mean, how can you not be romantic about football? That's one of those situations there that it's a storybook thing for the 49ers. They're looking for the young guys to pick up so much of this slack, especially when somebody like Nick Bosa exits, and exactly that happened at that critical moment. It set up the offensive explosion at the end of this game. I mean, let's go back to the very start. Arizona was controlling this thing, I thought, with a very strong arm. I call it an arm wrestling match, and the Cardinals at one point had 34 plays while the 49ers only had 14 plays. A couple 3-and-outs early for the 49ers. It was bad news. Arizona had 8 times the time of possession. It was a warm day down on the field. The 49ers were running the risk of getting run out of their building due to defensive exhaustion. I thought that Jonathan Gannon, Arizona's head coach, made a critical error late in the first half, own 37-yard line, 4th down and 1. His team has run 20 more plays than the 49ers. He decided to punt the ball. And that gave San Francisco the ball back. They hogged the ball for the entire rest of the first half. They kicked the field goal to go into the break ahead 6-3. Obviously, they would eventually relinquish that lead, but I said at the time, remember when Arizona punted the football away, when they were 1 yard away from, I think, just exhausting the 49ers out of contention in this game. San Francisco was in a bad spot there in the first half because the offense wasn't staying on the field and the defense was just getting nickel and dime. They were getting screened to death. Arizona didn't really show a lot of faith in Kyler Murray in the first half, but 3.7 yards at a time, that was their yards per play. They were moving the ball and hogging the ball to put the 49ers into that bad spot. But everything changed when they punted. The 49ers scored before halftime, and then we had that fantastic finish. So now we could fast forward to the fantastic finish. You have to give credit to the 49ers offense. Even though they didn't score on the drive where they got stymied at the goal line, they moved it 70 yards, and they gave their defense some rest in that second half to tilt the scale at least more favorably in their direction. Then came the near safety of Kyler Murray. Then came the 4th down play where Kyle Shanahan decided to put everything on the table, and he let Mac Jones throw deep to Ricky Pearsall. And it was a dime. It was a fantastic catch from Ricky Pearsall, and it set up the touchdown to Kyle Juszczyk. Let's talk a little bit about Pearsall. 8 catches, 117 yards. That was a 34-yarder that he hauled in. It seemed that in every big moment, including in one that didn't go the 49ers' way where Mac threw an interception late in the game, I thought the 49ers would probably lose at that point. But it seems that in every big moment, Ricky Pearsall was the downfield option number 1, as you would expect in a game without Jauan Jennings. And boy, did he ever deliver. We've seen 3 games already, and Ricky has over 100 receiving yards in 2 of them. So he's well on his way to a 1,000-yard season if he could stay healthy. And I think given the size, the magnitude of some of the catches that we saw today from Ricky Pearsall, you could say that he's on track to make it to the Pro Bowl for the 49ers if he can keep this up. And remember, they get Demarcus Robinson back next week. So that's massive for San Francisco. Brandon Ayuk, probably what week 6, week 7, I don't know. But ultimately, Ricky Pearsall is not going to be the only receiving option on this team for now. He's doing a hell of a job carrying that weight. So is Christian McCaffrey. CMC might have had 2 drops today, which were very uncharacteristic, but 10 catches for 88 yards, including that screen pass to set everything up. Listen, the 49ers run game is not fully clicking yet. The longest run was Brian Robinson, 19 yards on the pitch right in the 4th quarter. Christian McCaffrey had a hard time finding room. I don't think the 49ers offensive line was great today. I mean, on the safety that happened late in the game, it was Calais Campbell who's beating Dominic Pooney. A guard should never be beaten that bad, but unfortunately for the 49ers, it happened on the play, and they also committed a bunch of holding penalties when they were trying to run the ball. I know that I've talked over the course of the first couple weeks about the fact that defenses are gambling a lot against the run and forcing the 49ers to beat them through the air, and the 49ers are now 3-0 with 3 wins riding on the arm of their quarterback. Right? Mac Jones today finished 27 of 41 for 284 yards, 7 yards an attempt. He had the interception where he did decide to force feed Ricky Pearsall. But you know what? That's going to happen in a game where you're so shorthanded. And that's the main theme of all this. The 49ers down Kittle, down Brandon Ayuk, right? Down Jauan Jennings. I mean, those are 3 of your main weapons. This was going to be a slog. I predicted 21-20 49ers. They ended up winning 16-15. So I got the margin right? It was a 1-point margin. But I was 5 points short on how many the 49ers would be able to score because I think that Arizona proved to be a little bit better than I thought defensively. This turned to be into even more of a slog than we initially anticipated. It's not going to be easy in those situations, but the quarterback has to be able to find it in him to make some of the throws, and the receivers have to find it in them to make some of the big catches at those crucial moments. And boy, did that ever happen today. And it goes beyond Pearsall and McCaffrey, who caught those 18 passes for 200-plus yards. The 4 critical catches for Kendrick Bourne, 2 catches for Jake Tonjes. Marquez Valdez-Scantling had one early in this game, the touchdown for Kyle Juszczyk. Sky Moore had a catch on that final game-winning drive for the 49ers. And then the man named Eddie De Niro with the money kick for San Francisco. Every single part of this operation had to deliver for the 49ers to win this game by 1. When you're that shorthanded offensively, plus when you lose one of your best defensive players, one of your two best. I mean, one is Fred Warner, the other is Nick Bosa, but they're without Bosa. And you have to manufacture pass rush. You have to scrap and claw for everything. Every single phase of the game has to deliver in the clutch. I thought Thomas Morstead has some good punts today for the 49ers. I thought that Fred Warner had some big plays. D. Winters was hitting hard. And Upton Stout on Zay Jones. You cannot say enough about what Upton was able to do as a rookie in the biggest moment of his career. Because if he doesn't make that play on Zay Jones, then the Cardinals are walking out of here 15-13 winners after a few kneel downs. But that's complementary football. Defense sets it up for the offense. Offense delivers. Brock Purdy is going to be back in all likelihood next week. 49ers are 3-0. They are in sole possession of first place in the NFC West. Seahawks did win today, big over the Saints, but the 49ers already beat them, and the Rams lost last second after their field goal was blocked against the Philadelphia Eagles. The 49ers already have more wins against the NFC West in 2025 than they did throughout all of 2024. Nick Bosa walked out of the locker room with a little wrap around his knee, by the way. So I'm going to go into that locker room, a little sleeve around his right leg. It's a knee injury. So I'm going to go in there right now and check in on everything. But, when you have a team come out and start 3-0 with 2 of those games being on the road and 2 of those games being division games, and you have that team able to win all 3 of those with a backup quarterback for 2 of them, and with an injury to the most important defensive player, I would say Nick Bosa as an edge rusher probably falls into that bucket. When you're able to do what the 49ers did, that takes guts, that takes resilience, and it's not out of the question to ask, might this team be special? Because they're winning with large contributions from their youth. We know that their A-list pillars are going to be very important to take this the full distance this season, but we also know that the weight that the youth of this team can carry. So Mike Kell with the huge plays. I talked about all the defensive linemen. I talk about D. Winters. I talk about Upton Stout. Ricky Pearsall still only in his second year. The weight that those guys can carry is also critical. And if you can get both of those ingredients into one bucket, which the 49ers have over the course of the first 3 games, you can cook up something special. All right, I'm headed to the locker room, Jacksonville next week. There's your 49ers instant reaction. Thanks to the guys here in the Levi Stadium engineering room. The great little host for these instant reactions as always. Hit that subscribe button. I will talk to you as soon as I'm out of the 49ers locker room.